For 3 years, I had worked for the same woman, Ava Sterling, my CEO, my boss, and according to everyone in the company, the most impossible woman to approach. She was the youngest CEO in Sterling Innovations history. Brilliant, successful, beautiful, and completely unreadable. Employees called her the Ice Queen, not because she was cruel, because nobody knew what she was thinking. She could walk into a meeting room and make 20 executives stop talking. She could reject a billion-dollar proposal without changing her expression. She could handle pressure that would break most people. But somehow she always made me nervous. Not because she was my boss, because she was Ava Sterling. I was not a new employee. I had worked at Sterling Innovations for 3 years. I knew Ava's habits. She drank black coffee every morning. She skipped lunch when she was busy. She stayed in the office long after everyone left. She remembered every employee's name. She just never admitted she cared. Ava Sterling was the kind of person who would quietly help someone and pretend she had done nothing. Everyone saw the CEO. I saw the woman behind the title. That was the problem. Because the more I saw her, the harder it became to remember she was only my boss. My apartment was small, not terrible, just lonely. After a long day of work, I would come home, heat up dinner, and sit alone. The apartment had 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, a balcony, and too much empty space. My friend Daniel told me, "You need a roommate." I tried. And no one wants to share a place with someone who works all the time. Daniel laughed. That sounds exactly like you. I am normal. You ate instant noodles for dinner 3 nights this week. That was efficient. He shook his head. You need someone. Someone? Yes. A roommate? He smiled. Maybe more. I ignored him. One Friday night after another late shift, I posted an apartment listing. I did not think much about it. The title was simple. Beautiful apartment available for couples move and ready. Why couples? Because the second bedroom had been converted into a small office. I thought a couple would appreciate the space. The apartment was quiet, safe, near the company, perfect for 2 people. I uploaded some photos, then went to sleep. The next morning, I woke up to dozens of notifications. I thought people were interested. Then I checked. Most messages were from employees because somehow the listing had spread through the company. Daniel called immediately. Liam, what? You are famous. What are you talking about? Your apartment. I sat up. What about it? Everyone saw it. Why? Because someone posted it in the employee group. I frowned. That is not funny. No. Daniel paused. It gets worse. What? The CEO saw it. I froze. Ava. Yes. And she replied. My heart stopped for a second. What did she say? Daniel laughed. You need to see it yourself. I opened the company chat. Hundreds of messages. Most were jokes. Until I saw one name. Ava Sterling, the CEO. Her message was simple. Ava Sterling. I will take it. The chat immediately exploded. Daniel, wait, what? Emily, CEO Sterling. Mark, are you serious? Then Ava sent another message. Ava Sterling, I have one question. Everyone waited. Then Ava Sterling, which side of the bed is mine? I stared at the screen. My brain stopped working. The entire company chat went silent. Then chaos appeared. Daniel, Liam, please tell me this is fake. Emily, the CEO, just asked about the bed. Mark, I need to know if I am dreaming. I immediately typed Liam Carter, CEO Sterling. The reply came instantly. Ava Sterling wrong. I froze. Another message. Ava Sterling after work. Another pause. Ava Sterling. Call me Ava. I looked at the screen for a long time because I knew Ava. She did not joke. Not publicly. Not with employees. Not about something like this. I typed, Liam Carter, are you serious? A few seconds passed. Then, Ava Sterling, yes. Another message followed. Ava Sterling, your apartment has 2 bedrooms. Mine has 1. I blinked. Then another message. Ava Sterling, I think your apartment is more suitable. That was the most Ava Sterling explanation possible. Logical, professional, completely unreasonable. After work, I waited outside my apartment. I still could not believe she was coming. Maybe she wanted to discuss something. Maybe she wanted to explain. Maybe this was some kind of misunderstanding. Then a black car stopped downstairs. The door opened. Ava stepped out, not wearing her CEO suit, not carrying documents. Just a simple, elegant coat. She walked toward me. You are early. I smiled nervously. You are actually here. Yes. For the apartment. Yes. I looked at her. Ava. Yes. Did you really just move into my apartment because I posted a couple's listing? She looked at me calmly. Yes. That is a little unusual. I know. You admit it. Yes. Why? She looked at the apartment building, then back at me. Because I have been waiting. My expression changed. Waiting for what? Ava was silent for a moment. Then for you to notice that I was looking for a place beside you. I did not know what to say because Ava Sterling had always been impossible to understand. But right now, she was standing in front of me, choosing my apartment, choosing my space, choosing me. She walked inside. I followed. She looked around the living room, the kitchen, the balcony. Then she walked into the bedroom. She turned back. Serious expression. Liam. Yes. Which side of the bed is yours? I almost forgot how to breathe, Ava. As she raised an eyebrow. What? You are really asking that? Yes. Why? She looked at me. Because I need to know where my side is. The Ice Queen CEO, the woman everyone feared, had just walked into my apartment and started choosing her side of the bed. I had imagined many possible situations involving Ava Sterling. A difficult meeting, a business emergency, a late-night project, a company crisis. But I had never imagined this. My CEO was standing in my apartment holding a suitcase and asking which side of the bed belonged to her. Ava. She looked at me. Yes. Can we talk about what is happening? Of course. She said it so calmly that I almost wondered if I was the strange one. You are moving in? Yes. Into my apartment? Yes. Because of a joke? No. That answer surprised me. No. Ava placed her suitcase beside the door. No. Then why? She looked around the apartment, then at me. Because you said you needed a place for couples. I stared. That was a rental listing. I know. It did not mean I was actually looking for a partner. I know. Then Ava walked closer. Liam, yes. You really think I would move into your apartment because I misunderstood a listing? I became quiet because honestly that sounded exactly like something Ava would not do. She was too smart, too careful. So why? She answered softly because I wanted to. That sentence, simple, direct, completely Ava. For years, she had made decisions based on logic, numbers, risk, benefits. But when it came to me, she kept saying the same thing because I wanted to. And somehow that was harder to argue against. I looked at her suitcase. You actually brought things? Yes. How much? Enough. That does not answer the question. 3 suitcases. I looked at her. 3? Yes. You planned this? Ava paused, then admitted. Yes. I laughed. You planned moving into my apartment? Yes. Without telling me? Yes. That is slightly terrifying. She looked at me. Do you want me to leave? The question was immediate. And for the first time, I noticed something. Ava was confident, but she was also waiting for my answer. No, her expression softened. Good. The strangest part was watching Ava Sterling become a roommate. At work, she controlled an entire company. At home, she was surprisingly normal. Almost. The first problem happened 10 minutes after she arrived. She opened my refrigerator, then looked inside. Silence. I immediately knew something was wrong. What? She turned around. You live like this? I frowned. What is wrong? There is no food. There is food, she pointed. 1 bottle of water, 1 egg, and 3 packages of instant noodles. I smiled. That is enough. Ava stared at me. No, no, no. She closed the refrigerator. Tomorrow we are buying groceries. I laughed. Is this an order? She looked at me. Yes. I raised an eyebrow. Ava. She paused, then corrected herself. Please. I froze because Ava Sterling saying please was rarer than a company holiday. You just said please. Yes, I need to remember this moment. Do not. Why? Because I may not do it again. I laughed and for a second the Ice Queen disappeared. The next morning, something happened that almost destroyed the company. Not a crisis, not a failed project, something much worse. Ava and I arrived at work together in the same car. Everyone saw the moment we entered the building. Conversation stopped. Daniel looked at us, then looked at Ava, then looked at me, then back at Ava. No, I sighed. Daniel, no. What? The apartment listing. I already knew where this was going. You are not serious. Daniel pointed between us. She moved in. Ava answered before I could. Yes. Daniel opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. Finally, the CEO moved into your apartment. Yes. Why? Ava looked at him. Because it was suitable. Daniel stared. That is the most CEO answer I have ever heard. Inside the elevator, it was just Ava and me. The doors closed. For the first time all morning, we were alone. You are not worried? I asked. About what? People talking. Ava looked at me. No. Why? Because they already talked before. That is different. How? Before they thought it was a joke and now I smiled. Now they know you actually moved in. Ava nodded. Good. I looked at her. Good. Yes. Why? She answered quietly. Because I do not want to pretend anymore. That afternoon rumors spread through the company. Not about work, about us. Some employees thought it was impossible. Some thought I had somehow convinced the CEO. Some thought Ava was only doing it for fun. But one person asked the question everyone was thinking. A junior employee approached Ava during lunch. CEO Sterling. Yes. Can I ask something? Ava nodded. Why, Mr. Carter? The cafeteria became quiet. Everyone listened even though they pretended not to. Ava looked at the employee then answered, because he is the only person here who does not treat me like a CEO. The employee looked surprised. Ava continued, he treats me like Ava. That evening when we returned home, I asked, you really meant that? Yes. About me seeing you as Ava? Yes. Why does that matter so much? She was silent. Then, because everyone wants something from Ava Sterling. She looked at me. But Liam wants to know if Ava Sterling ate dinner. I smiled. That is a very low standard. No, she shook her head. That is exactly why it matters. Later that night, we sat on the balcony. The city lights were outside. For once, Ava was not working. No laptop, no phone, no documents, just sitting. You know something? I said. What? I never thought I would see this. What? You relaxing. Ava looked at the sky. I never thought I would either. I smiled, then asked, why did you really choose my apartment? She was quiet, longer than usual. Finally, because I wanted to know what normal felt like. I looked at her. Normal? Yes. Living with someone? Yes. Sharing a home? Yes. She looked at me. Being chosen. That answer surprised me because Ava Sterling had everything. Money, power, success. But what she wanted was something simple. A home with someone who chose her. Before going to sleep, Ava stood at the bedroom door, then asked again, Liam, yes. Which side of the bed is mine? I laughed. You really care about that? Yes. Why? She looked completely serious. Because I need to know where I belong. The joke disappeared. Because suddenly I understood. She was not asking about the bed. She was asking about her place in my life. I pointed to the side. That one? She nodded then smiled slightly. Good. Good. Yes. Why? Ava walked into the room. Because now I know where home is. I thought working with Ava Sterling for 3 years prepared me for everything. I was wrong. Working for Ava was easy. Living with Ava was a completely different challenge. At the office, she was the CEO. Everything had a schedule. Everything had a purpose. Everything had a reason. At home, she was still Ava. But somehow that was even more dangerous. The first morning after she moved in, I woke up earlier than usual. Not because of work, because I forgot someone else lived here. I walked into the kitchen half asleep, then stopped. Ava was already there making coffee. I stared. She looked at me. Good morning. I looked at the coffee machine, then at her, then back at the coffee machine. What? You are making coffee? Yes. You know there is a coffee shop downstairs. Yes. Then why? Ava looked confused. Because I wanted coffee. I laughed. No, she frowned. What? You made coffee for both of us. She looked at the 2 cups on the table, then became quiet. For a second, I saw it. She had not even realized what she was doing. Ava Sterling, the woman who could negotiate billion-dollar contracts, had automatically made coffee for me. You are smiling, she said. I immediately stopped. No, yes, you are imagining things. I am not. I sat down, then took the coffee. Thank you. Ava nodded. You are welcome. I looked at her. You just said that naturally. What? You are becoming normal. She looked offended. I was always normal. I smiled. Sure. At work, everyone was still adjusting, especially Daniel. He walked into my office carrying documents, then looked around. You have changed. I looked confused. What? You? Me? Yes. Why? Daniel pointed at my desk. Before you only had work documents, and now you have a lunchbox. I looked down. There was a small lunch container. I smiled. Ava made it. Daniel immediately sat down. Stop. What? I need time for what? To understand how this happened. What? The woman who once cancelled a vacation because of a meeting. He pointed at the lunchbox. Now prepares your lunch. I laughed. She is different at home. Daniel shook his head. No what? She is different with you. That sentence stayed in my mind because it was true. Ava was not different because she changed. She was different because she felt safe. And I was beginning to understand something. The Ice Queen was not created because she lacked emotions. She became the Ice Queen because she had too many emotions. She just learned to hide them. That evening, I came home late. Not extremely late, but later than usual. When I opened the door, the apartment was dark. I expected Ava to still be working. Instead, she was sitting on the sofa waiting. You were late. I looked at the clock. 20 minutes. Yes. You waited? Yes. Why? She looked surprised by the question. Because you were not home. The answer was simple, but it affected me. You were worried. No, I smiled. Ava? She sighed. Yes, you were worried. Yes. She admitted it easily. That was new. What happened? She asked work. Did something go wrong? No. Then why late? I explained the situation. A problem with a project. A team member needed help. Ava listened carefully. Then said, You did the right thing. I smiled. You sound like my CEO. No. She shook her head. I am saying this as your wife. The word surprised me. Even after everything, I still noticed every time she said it. Wife. Yes, you like that word? Yes. Why? She thought for a moment, then answered. Because nobody else calls me that. I understood. Co-founder leader. Everyone had a title for Ava Sterling, but wife that belonged only to one person, me. A few days later, something unexpected happened. Ava's family visited. I was nervous. Not because I had never met them. I had, but this time was different. I was not meeting them as an employee. I was meeting them as the person living with their daughter. Her mother looked around the apartment. Then smiled. You changed this place. Ava looked confused. Oh. Before this apartment looked like a hotel. She looked at me. Now it looks like a home. Ava became quiet because she knew she had changed too. During dinner, Ava's father asked, so everyone looked at him. When did you realize you wanted to live together? I almost answered, but Ava spoke first. When he posted the apartment. Her father looked surprised. That quickly? No. Ava looked at me. Not quickly. A pause. I just finally admitted it. Her mother smiled. Admitted what? That I wanted him in my life. The table became quiet because Ava did not usually say things like this, especially in front of family. Later that night, after her parents left, I asked, You were very honest today? Yes. Are you getting used to it? Yes. Oh. She looked at me. Because of you. I smiled. Me? Yes. Why? Because every time I tell you something honest, she paused. You never use it against me. That answer was heavier than I expected. Because Ava trusted very few people. But she trusted me completely. Before sleeping, Ava stood by the closet. I noticed something. You moved your clothes. Yes. Where? She pointed. Your side. I looked. Her clothes were next to mine. Not separated, not temporary. Together. You really moved in. Yes. You know this is not just a rental anymore. Ava turned. I know. Then what is it? She looked at me. Our home. 2 simple words. But coming from Ava, they meant everything. That night, I realized something. The apartment listing was supposed to find a couple, a place for 2 people, a practical choice. But I never expected the first person who would answer would be the woman I worked for. The woman who once seemed impossible to reach. The woman who now stood beside me in my kitchen. The woman who asked which side of the bed was hers because she wanted to know where she belonged. And the answer was simple. Beside me. Living with Ava Sterling taught me something. The woman everyone feared was not actually difficult. She was just unfamiliar. People saw the CEO who worked until midnight. The woman who rejected unreasonable demands. The leader who never made mistakes. But they never saw the woman who quietly left a blanket on the sofa when I fell asleep working. They never saw the woman who checked the weather before I left home. They never saw the woman who reminded me to eat breakfast every morning. That Ava only existed at home and only with me. The first real argument we had was about something completely unexpected. The closet. You have too many clothes. Ava looked at me. I do not. I pointed. You have 3 sections. Yes. And I have one. Yes. That is not fair. She looked at the closet, then at me. Do you need more space? Yes. Okay. I waited. What? I will give you more. I smiled. Really? Yes. Where? Ava calmly answered. My side. I stopped. Your side? Yes. You are giving me your side? Yes. I laughed. You are unbelievable. Why? Because you just solved the problem by giving me something you own. She looked confused. Is that bad? No. Then I smiled. You really do think differently. That was Ava. She never said, I love you. Not often. Instead, she did things. She moved her clothes. She made coffee. She waited for me. She remembered small details. Her love was not loud. It was in the little things. A week later, something happened at work. A major client requested an emergency meeting. The project was important. The entire executive team was involved. When Ava entered the conference room, everyone became serious. The CEO was back, cold, focused, professional. I watched her from across the table. Nobody would believe this was the same woman who argued with me about closet space last night. The meeting lasted 3 hours. The client kept changing requirements. Several executives became frustrated. One director finally said, "This is impossible." The room became quiet. Ava looked at him. "Nothing is impossible." The director immediately apologized. Then she turned to the team. "Find a solution." Everyone started working. That was Ava. Calm under pressure. Always in control. After the meeting, I stayed behind. Ava noticed. "You are waiting." "Yes." "Why?" I smiled. "Because I wanted to see if my CEO needed help." She looked at me. "I am fine." "Liar." She sighed. "You really enjoy saying that?" "Yes." She looked tired. "Not physically, emotionally." "You did well today." I was surprised. "Me?" "Yes." "You are praising me?" "Yes." "I should record this." Ava almost smiled. "Do not." "Why?" "Because I may deny it." I laughed. There she was. The Ava only I knew. That night something unusual happened. I came home before her. Normally Ava arrived later. But that day she was late, very late. At 11 p.m., I received a message. "Ava Sterling. I will be home soon." Only that, no explanation. But I noticed something. She rarely sent messages like that. Not because she did not care, because she assumed she had to handle everything herself. I waited. 30 minutes later, the door opened. Ava walked in. She looked exhausted. Not the CEO. Just Ava. "You waited." "Yes, you should sleep." "You should too." She looked at me, then quietly. "I am sorry for what?" "For making you worry." I froze. Because Ava Sterling apologizing was rare. Especially for something emotional. You do not have to apologize. I know. Then why? She put down her bag. Because I do not want you to feel alone. The sentence surprised me because that was exactly what she had felt for years. Alone. I walked toward her. "You know something?" "What?" "You are allowed to rely on me." She looked at me. "I know." "No." I shook my head. "You say you know." A pause. "But you do not believe it." Ava became silent because I was right. She knew how to protect people. She knew how to help people. But she did not know how to let someone protect her. The next morning, something happened that shocked the entire company. Ava arrived late, 10 minutes late. Everyone noticed because Ava Sterling was never late. Daniel immediately came to my desk. Something happened. I looked up. "What?" "The CEO is late." I laughed. "That is impossible. She is maybe traffic." Daniel stared. "You understand how strange that sentence sounds?" "What?" "You are explaining the CEO's lateness like a normal husband." I smiled. "Maybe because I am." Daniel shook his head. "I still cannot believe this." When Ava finally arrived, she walked directly to my desk. Everyone watched. She placed a coffee beside me, then said, "Sorry." I looked surprised. "For what?" "For being late." The office became silent because nobody had ever heard Ava Sterling apologize for being late. I smiled. "You do not need to apologize." "Yes, I do." "Why?" She looked at me. "Because you waited." The entire office pretended not to listen. They failed. Later, Daniel asked me, "Do you realize what happened?" "What?" "The CEO apologized." "Yes, to you?" "Yes, Because you waited. Yes. He shook his head. You changed her. I thought about it, then answered. You know what? I did not change her. I looked toward Ava's office. She just finally had someone she could be herself with. That evening, Ava and I returned home. She stood in the bedroom looking at the bed. What? I asked. She pointed. The sides. I laughed. You are still thinking about that? Yes. So, she walked to her side then looked at me. I chose this side. Why? Because it is closer to you. I smiled. Ava, yes. You realize there is no rule about sides of the bed. I know. Then why care? She answered quietly because I like knowing where I belong. The answer made me stop because once again she was not talking about the bed. She was talking about us. I walked closer. You belong here. She looked at me. Where? Beside me. For a moment. The Ice Queen CEO disappeared. Only Ava remained and she smiled. After Ava moved into my apartment, one thing became obvious. The company had too much free time because everyone suddenly became interested in my personal life, not my work, not my projects, my apartment, my relationship with the CEO, and especially how this was even possible. Liam Daniel appeared beside my desk again. I looked up. What now? He looked serious. That is never a good sign. What happened? He lowered his voice. People are making bets. I frowned. About what? You and Ava? I sighed. Seriously? Yes. What kind of bets? Daniel counted with his fingers. How long until you get married? I almost choked. Married? Yes. Anything else? How long until the CEO changes her office? Why? Because everyone thinks she will move your desk closer. I laughed. That is ridiculous. Daniel looked toward Ava's office. Is it? I followed his eyes. The door opened. Ava walked out and the first thing she did was look at me. Not the meeting room. Not the executives waiting. Me. Daniel slowly turned back. I hate being right. Ava stopped at my desk. Liam. Yes. Lunch. I looked at the time now. Yes. I have work. So do I. Then lunch. I smiled. You are ordering me. She looked at me then corrected herself. Inviting. That is better. Daniel immediately walked away. I noticed. Where are you going? To give you privacy. You were just standing here. Yes. Why leave now? Because I value my life. I laughed. Ava looked confused. What? Nothing. The strange thing was Ava was still Ava. She did not become a completely different person after moving in. She was still demanding, still organized, still impossible during meetings. But now there was warmth behind everything. Before finish the report. Now finish the report then rest. Before you missed lunch, now you missed lunch. I prepared something. Small differences, but everyone noticed. That afternoon a problem happened. A competitor released a new product. The market reacted immediately. The entire strategy department became busy. Everyone rushed including me. I stayed late again. When Ava noticed, she came to my office. Liam. I looked up. Yes. Go home. I smiled. You sound like me. No, you do. I am serious. So am I. She looked at the documents. How long? 2 hours. No, Ava. No. I laughed. The CEO is refusing overtime. Yes. Why? Because you need rest. The answer was simple, but everyone else would never hear Ava say that. You worry too much. I said, yes. The honesty surprised me. You admit it? Yes. Why? Because I do. She looked at me. When it comes to the company, I trust numbers. And me? She paused. Then when it comes to you, Ava looked away. I worry. That was the closest thing to saying I love you. And from Ava, it meant more than 1,000 words. That night, something unexpected happened. A photo appeared online, not a private photo, a company event photo. Ava and me standing together. The headline was simple. Sterling Innovation CEO's mysterious relationship. By morning, everyone had seen it. I expected Ava to be angry. But when I entered the office, she was calm. Too calm. Ava, yes, you saw the news. Yes, you are okay. Yes, that is all. She looked at me. What should I do? I do not know exactly. She returned to her documents. People will talk. You are not worried. No. Why? She looked up. Because they are talking about something real. I froze. Something real, not a rumor, not a misunderstanding. Us. Later that day, the board requested a meeting. Everyone knew why. The relationship between the CEO and an employee could become complicated. When Ava entered the room, she was completely professional. No hesitation, no fear. One director spoke first. Miss Sterling. Yes, this relationship may affect the company's reputation. Ava nodded. I understand. You need to consider the consequences. I have. The director looked surprised. Then Ava placed a document on the table. My proposal. Everyone looked. It was a restructuring plan. Liam would no longer report directly to her. His department would become independent. His promotions would be handled by another executive committee. The room became quiet. You prepared this already? Yes. Why? Ava answered. Because I want everyone to know his success belongs to him. After the meeting, Liam found her. You planned all of this? Yes. Before they asked. Yes. Why? She looked at him. Because I knew one day people would question you. He became quiet and I will not let anyone think you are standing beside me because of my position. That sentence meant everything because Ava was not protecting herself. She was protecting him. That evening when they returned home, I asked, were you scared? Ava looked at me today. Yes. She thought, yes. Really? Yes. About losing your position? No. So then she looked at the apartment. Our apartment then at me about losing the life we built. I walked closer. Ava, yes. You know I am not here because you are the CEO. I know I am here because you are you. She smiled. I know and that is why I chose you. Before sleeping, Ava stood beside the bed looking at the two sides. What? I asked. She pointed. Nothing. You are thinking about the sides again. Yes. I laughed. You really like this topic. Yes. Why? She looked at me. Because when I wake up, a pause. I want the first thing I see to be you. For a moment, I forgot what to say. Because the woman who controlled an entire company was standing in our bedroom, worrying about something as simple as waking up beside me. And somehow that was the sweetest thing about her. After the board meeting, something changed. Not between Ava and me, between Ava and everyone else. For years, people at Sterling Innovations believed Ava Sterling was untouchable. The CEO, the founder, the woman who never needed anyone. But now they saw something different. She still made difficult decisions. She still led the company. She still demanded excellence. But everyone knew one thing. There was someone who could make her put down her work. Someone who could make her smile. Someone who could make her remember she was not just a CEO. A few days later, I received an invitation, not from Ava, from her family. A formal dinner. I looked at the message for a long time, then showed it to Ava. Your family invited me. Yes, you knew. Yes. You did not warn me. Ava looked confused. Should I? Yes. Why? Because meeting your family is stressful. She thought about it, then said, they already like you. That does not make it less stressful. Why? Because they are your family. Ava looked at me, then smiled slightly. You are nervous. There it is again. Because it is true. The Sterling family dinner was different from what I expected. I thought it would feel like a business meeting, formal, cold, serious. But it was not. Ava's mother immediately asked, are you eating enough? I was surprised. Yes, she never checks her own meals. I looked at Ava. She immediately looked away. Mother. Her mother smiled. She worries about everyone except herself. I laughed. That sounds familiar. Ava looked at me. What? You do the same thing. She became quiet because she knew I was right. During dinner, Ava's father asked me, Liam, yes. You have worked with my daughter for years. Yes. What was your first impression? I thought about it. I answered, terrifying. Everyone laughed, even Ava. A real laugh. Her father smiled. And now I looked at Ava. Different. How? She is still terrifying. Everyone laughed again. But I continued. She is also the kindest person I know. The room became quiet. Ava looked down. I knew that expression. She was touched. She just did not want anyone to notice. After dinner, Ava's father walked with me outside. The same question appeared. The question everyone asked. Why her? I smiled. Because I had heard it before, but my answer was always the same. Because she is Ava. He looked at me. Explain. Everyone loves the CEO. They admire her success. They respect her power. But when she goes home, I paused. She is just a person. Her father nodded. And you love that person? Yes. He looked toward the house. My daughter has always been strong. A pause. but strong people get tired too. I know. And you? I want to be the person she can rest with. When I returned inside, Ava was waiting. What did my father say? I smiled. He asked why I love you. Her expression changed. What did you say? The truth. What truth? That you are not just the CEO. A pause. You are Ava. She looked away. You always say things like that. Because they are true. The next week, something happened that surprised everyone. Ava took a day off. A full day. No meetings, no emails, no work. Daniel almost thought the company was shutting down. She actually took leave. I laughed. Yes. Oh. I asked. Daniel stared. You asked the CEO to take a day off? Yes. And she listened? Yes. He shook his head. This is the biggest achievement in your career. Really? Absolutely. That day, Ava and I stayed home. No expensive restaurants, no business events, just normal life. We cooked together, watched movies, cleaned the apartment. At first, Ava looked uncomfortable. Not because she disliked it, because she was unfamiliar with it. You are thinking? I said, yes. About work? No. Then she looked around. Our apartment. I smiled. What about it? I like this. What this? She pointed the ordinary things. I understood because for Ava ordinary was something she had never had. That evening while organizing some old things I found the original apartment listing. I laughed. Ava, yes. You remember this? She looked the old post. The one that started everything. Yes. You really answered because of this? Yes. You know, most people would think it was crazy. I know. Then why? She looked at the screen, then at me. Because sometimes the opportunity you wait for, she paused. Looks like a joke. I smiled. That sounds like something you would never say before. Yes. Why now? She looked at me. Because you taught me that not everything important needs a perfect plan. Later that night, Ava stood beside the bed again. I laughed. You are checking the sides. Yes. Still? Yes. Why? She looked serious because tomorrow morning I have an important meeting and I want to know that when I wake up. She pointed to my side. You are there. I smiled. You know I will be. Yes. Then why check? She answered quietly because I spent too long having everything a pause except someone to come home to. I walked closer. Ava. Yes, you have me now. She looked at me. I know. And she smiled. I like hearing it. The next morning, something unexpected happened. Ava arrived at the office wearing a small necklace. Nobody noticed except me because it was the necklace I gave her. She touched it during meetings. A tiny movement almost invisible, but I knew. After work, I asked, you wore it? Yes. Why? She looked at me. Because I wanted to. I smiled. You really love that answer? Yes. Why? Because it is the truth. And that was Ava Sterling. The woman who once needed everything planned, everything controlled, everything calculated. Now she only needed one thing, a home and the person waiting inside it. 6 months after Ava moved into my apartment, everyone in Sterling Innovations had accepted one fact. The Ice Queen CEO was no longer alone. But what surprised people most was not that Ava was in love. It was how much she had changed. Not in the way people expected. She was not softer in meetings. She was not less demanding. She was still Ava Sterling. Still the person who could walk into a conference room and immediately take control. Still the leader who expected everyone to give their best. But now when the workday ended, she had somewhere to go. Someone waiting. A home. One Monday morning, I arrived at the office and immediately noticed something strange. Everyone was looking at me again. I sighed. What happened this time? Daniel appeared with a serious expression. You need to prepare yourself. I looked at him. For what? The CEO? What about her? She did something unbelievable. I became nervous. What did she do? Daniel leaned closer. She rejected a major partnership. I blinked. That is unbelievable. No. Then she rejected it because the company would require employees to work weekends. I stared. That is the reason? Yes. I smiled. That sounds like her. Daniel shook his head. You do not understand. What? Before she would have only looked at the numbers. And now she looks at the people. I became quiet because Daniel was right. Ava had always cared. But before she hid it behind decisions. Now she allowed people to see it. That afternoon I entered Ava's office. She was reading reports. You rejected the partnership. Yes. Because of employees? Yes. I smiled. You know investors will complain. I know you are not worried. No. Why? She looked at me. Because a company is not just numbers. That answer surprised me. Not because it was wrong. Because it was something Ava had always believed. She just never said it. Do you remember the first week I worked here? I asked. Ava looked up. Yes. You barely talked to me. That is not true. It is. I answered your questions. You answered with one word. That was efficient. I laughed. You were impossible. I know. But then I paused. You changed. Ava looked at me. No. 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 She closed the report. I did not change. Then you were the first person who gave me a reason to stop pretending. The room became quiet. That evening, Ava received an invitation, a business gala, the largest event of the year. All major companies would attend. Naturally, she was invited. But when she opened the invitation, she frowned. What happened? I asked. She looked at me. They want me to attend alone. I understood. Because everyone still saw her as the CEO, not as someone with a partner. Do you want me to come? The question left my mouth naturally. Ava looked surprised. You would? Why not? You do not enjoy these events. That is true. Then I smiled. Because you do. She looked at me, then quietly said, I want you there. The gala was exactly what I expected. Expensive, formal, full of powerful people. The moment Ava entered, everyone noticed, but this time she was not alone. Her hand was holding mine. The reaction was immediate. Whispers, surprise, curiosity. Ava ignored all of it. She walked confidently, not because she wanted to prove something, because she had nothing to hide. A businessman approached us. Miss Sterling, Mr. Anderson. He looked at me. And this is Ava answered immediately. My husband. The words surprised me. Even though I knew they were coming, the man smiled. Congratulations. Thank you. After he left, I looked at her. You introduced me as your husband. Yes. You did not hesitate. No. Why? She looked at me. Because it is true. A simple answer. But from Ava, it meant everything. Later that night, someone asked Ava a question during an interview. Many people say your relationship changed you. Do you agree? Ava thought for a moment, then answered, yes. The reporter looked surprised. Oh. Ava looked toward me. I learned that being strong does not mean standing alone. A pause. It means knowing who you can stand beside. The reporter smiled. That person is Mr. Carter. Ava nodded. Yes. On the way home, I asked, were you nervous? No. I smiled. Really? No liar. She looked at me, then laughed softly. Yes. About what? Introducing you. I was surprised. Why? Because once I say it, she looked out the window. It becomes real. I held her hand. Ava, yes, you know it has been real for a long time. She looked at me when I smiled. The day you sent your address, she laughed. That was a strange decision. Yes. A crazy decision. Yes. Do you regret it? I looked at her. Never. When we arrived home, Ava stood at the bedroom door looking at the bed. I laughed. You are doing it again. What? Besides? She nodded. Yes. Still. Yes. I walked closer. Why? She looked at me. Because I still like knowing. Knowing what? She smiled. But this side belongs to me. I pointed your side. She shook her head. No. Then she stepped closer. Your side? I froze. What? I like being closer to you. For a moment, I forgot how to answer because Ava Sterling could negotiate with billionaires. She could lead thousands of employees, but sometimes the sweetest thing she said was about something as simple as a place beside her. That night before sleeping, Ava asked, Liam, yes. If you could change one thing about how we met, what would you change? She thought, nothing. Really? Yes. Even the apartment listing? Yes. Even the embarrassing company chat? Yes, even everyone laughing. She nodded because if that did not happen, she looked at me. I might still be waiting. Waiting for what? She smiled. For you to come home. The next morning, something unexpected happened. Ava placed a document on my desk. I looked at it. What is this? She smiled. Open it. I did. My expression changed. Because it was not a business document. It was a property document. The apartment. Our apartment. My name was added. I looked at her. Ava, she said calmly. I bought it. You bought my apartment. Our apartment. I became speechless. Why? She looked at me. Because you once listed it for couples. A pause, and I want to make sure she smiled. I never have to leave. For a long time, I thought home was just a place, a building, a room, an address, something with walls and a door. That was why I posted the apartment listing in the first place. I thought I needed someone to share the empty space. I never expected the person who would answer would be Ava Sterling. The woman who owned a company, the woman who had everything. The woman who somehow chose my small apartment and eventually chose me. I stared at the property document in my hands. Ava, yes. You bought the apartment? Yes. Why? She looked confused. I just explained. You bought it because of a joke? No. She shook her head. I bought it because it is where we started. I became quiet because she was right. This apartment was not special because of its size. It was not expensive. It was not luxurious. But it was the first place where Ava Sterling stopped being the CEO and became Ava. You could have bought any house. I said, yes, you could have bought a mansion. Yes, then why this? She looked around. The sofa, the kitchen, the balcony, the bedroom. Then she answered, because every corner here has a memory. I smiled. You remember everything? Yes, even small things. Especially small things. That was Ava. She remembered the day she first entered this apartment. She remembered the coffee she made the first morning. She remembered the first argument about closet space. She remembered the first night she admitted she was worried. Things I thought were ordinary were important to her because for Ava, ordinary moments were rare. A month later, the company celebrated its anniversary. Ava gave a speech. Everyone expected numbers, revenue, growth, future plans. Instead, she surprised everyone. When I started Sterling Innovations, she stood on the stage. I thought success meant proving I could do everything alone. The room became quiet. I thought needing someone was weakness. A pause. But I was wrong. Everyone listened. Sometimes the strongest decision you can make, she looked toward me, is choosing someone you trust. The applause was immediate, but I noticed something. Ava was not speaking as the CEO. She was speaking as Ava. After the event, Daniel came to me. I finally understand. I laughed. Understand what? The apartment. What about it? At first, I thought the CEO moved in because she was crazy. She was. Daniel nodded. True. But now, he looked at Ava. She did not move into your apartment. I looked at him. She moved into your life. I smiled. That was exactly right. That evening, Ava and I returned home. Our home. She placed her keys beside mine. A simple action. But I knew how much it meant because Ava Sterling had spent years building things, companies, careers, a reputation. But now she had built something different, a life. Later that night, we sat on the balcony, the same place where she once told me. I wanted to know what normal felt like. You know something? I said, what? If someone told me this would happen, Ava smiled. I would not believe it. Really? Yes, even you? Yes. Why? Because I never thought I would do something so unexpected. I laughed. You sent your home address in a company chat. Yes, you moved into your employee's apartment. Yes, you asked. Which side of the bed was yours? Yes. I smiled. You realized that was not normal. Ava nodded. I know. Then why? She looked at me. Because sometimes a pause. The person you have been waiting for is right in front of you. Years later, new employees still heard the story. The story about Ava Sterling, the Ice Queen CEO, the woman who seemed impossible to reach. They heard about the apartment listing, the company chat, the question, which side of the bed is mine? Some people laughed, some people thought it was unbelievable. But everyone knew one thing. Ava Sterling was not changed by love. Love simply allowed everyone to see who she really was. One morning, I woke up before Ava. I looked at her sleeping beside me. The same woman who once controlled an entire company. The same woman who scared executives. The same woman who never showed weakness. Now she was peacefully sleeping because she knew she was home. My phone suddenly received a message from Daniel. Daniel, important question. I smiled. What? Another message came. Daniel, does the CEO still choose her side of the bed? I looked at Ava, then replied, Liam, yes. A few seconds later, Daniel, which side? I smiled, then typed, Liam, mine. When Ava woke up, she looked at me. You are smiling. Yes. Why? Daniel asked about your side of the bed. She immediately understood. He is still asking. Yes. What did you say? I smiled. That your side is mine. Ava looked at me then smiled. That is correct. Why? She moved closer. Because I chose it. What you? The first time Ava Sterling entered my apartment, she asked which side of the bed is mine. At the time, I thought she was asking about a piece of furniture. I was wrong. She was asking, where do I belong? Where is my place? Where is home? And the answer was never the bed, never the apartment, never the address. It was always the person waiting beside her. I listed my apartment for couples. I thought I was looking for someone to share my home. I never expected the Ice Queen CEO to show up at my door. I never expected her to choose my apartment. I never expected her to choose me. But sometimes life gives you something better than what you ask for. Sometimes the person who walks through your door is the person who was always meant to stay. That's all for today. Remember to subscribe and support us.